Hello and welcome. My name is Elise and I am a second year student of English at Achterwelde. I will tell you about some language struggles that Africa has been struggling with for ages, and you will get to know an ancient tribe in Kenya called the Turkana. But to understand the struggles Africa has been facing with, we need to take a trip in time and go back to the previous owners of African land, and we need to go back to the colonization. For centuries, African ground was owned by different countries, mainly European. As you can see, the French owned almost the complete upper side of Africa. England as well had power all over the continent, and even our little country, as we all know, Belgium owned the Congo Republic. That way, all contributing to the differences in language today, and even a bit in culture. But colonization is not the only source of language problems in Africa today. There have been over 10,000 different tribes spread out on African land, and with each tribe having their own culture and their own language, you can see clearly how modern Africa today is still dealing with these consequences. In some countries, there are way too many different languages. For instance, Tanzania with 128 different languages, Congo has 242, and Nigeria beating them with more than 500 different languages. Knowing this, it is quite understandable that there is very little social and political coherence in Africa. One of those tribes, known for their survival instincts and remarkable way of life, are the Turkana people. They are situated in the upper left corner of Kenya, near the border of Sudan and Uganda. They live in the Kenyan desert, where they have been able to survive for centuries. It makes them true survivors. The Turkana tribe contains over 500,000 inhabitants, and they are feared by many because of their way of surviving. They live for their livestock of animals, which they claim by cattle raiding and plundering nearby villages. They would do anything to protect their livestock, and this is one of the reasons why they are seen as very dangerous people. They are monotheistic and believe only in their god Akui, who is able to bring them rain, which stands for life. Turkana people are recognizable by their dress code. Women are seen wearing tons of necklaces, the amount standing for wealth. Men are often, as not always, seen wearing guns and weapons. But the Turkana clan, as well as other ancient tribes, are struggling to survive in the quickly modernizing continent. For instance, Kenya and neighboring countries, who are trying to work together and be more coherent to improve political and social life. For instance, by appointing a new lingua franca, Swahili, a language that in time everyone should be able to speak and understand. Swahili is a mixed language that descends from earlier colonization, and it was first adopted by Kenya and Tanzania. It is used mainly for trade and education. This language forms a threat for tribes that are trying to protect their own culture and language. They have to decide either to embrace their country's progress and risk losing their mother tongue, or they choose to stay on their own ground and use it as a shield to never have to adapt to the new modern Kenya. Whether they survive and are able to protect their language will be up to them. I certainly hope they do, because a language should never get lost in time. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.